Some have come in challenging that we did not prove Tarshish was in the same region as Ophir. We most certainly have, but we agree you gotta put together a piece here, a piece there from different videos. Really what they require is one video which pulls these references together, which we are happy to do now. We'll add some new stuff, but in this video we will firmly nail down that Tarshish is Ophir in the very same region, and both are in the Philippines. Welcome to 100 Clues. The Philippines is the ancient land of gold known as Ophir in the Bible and history. No, it's no fable, and this has already been proven in full in the God Culture's Solomon's Gold series. At the request of many viewers, we have pulled out 100 compelling clues, really proofs or evidences from this research in which we will highlight briefs of the most compelling points, and yes, there are over 100. These videos are for those who have not had time to watch Solomon's Gold series and easy to share to friends and family, especially skeptics. This brief video cannot replace that 50 video series nor prove the way that it does, but this will be very effective nonetheless. So go there for full evidence, but now part 30 of our series 100 Clues, the Philippines is Ophir. One clue at a time. Now Tarshish is not part of the family as a person of Ophir, Sheba, and Havilah, the people, the sons of Joktan. No. So how exactly does he enter this narrative then? In fact, Tarshish is from Japheth, not even from Shem. Japheth had 7 sons whose territories become known for Nephilim lore quite heavily. And these peoples have been expanding their territories for thousands of years against Noah's command and really following the ancient religion and ancient aims of the pre-flood Nephilim. Yeah, if you really track it, it goes right there. They will pay the price for that, in fact, in time. Now we'll map these lands for you so you will know fully who we are dealing with, not only in colonial times, very critical, but even today. Now among Japheth's sons are Javan, Tarshish's father, and Tyrus, as in Tyre, where Solomon's Admiral Hiram originated. Tyre named for Tyrus. That's not their territory. They shouldn't be there, in fact, but we'll get there. Javan had 4 sons noted in Genesis 10. Tarshish is one. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their land. So if we follow history back in these days of approximately 2200 BC, we're pretty much told the time frame when Ophir migrated to the Philippines on Tarshish's ships. Also known as Sephar, the Mount of the East. We proved that out far earlier. Then they would have us believe, at least that's what we learned, that there were no ships in that era yet. Nobody was boating yet. However, it is pretty lame to assume that Noah and his sons, who built the world's first supertanker, and out of wood, not metal, mind you, a feat we could not replicate again until the 20th century, by the way. See, we moved far backwards and then forward again, and we're just now entering the days of technology, likely even before the flood. But these people then all of a sudden just forgot how to build ships. I mean, they just, how do you do that? That's a pretty dumb deduction when you think about it. The reality is they had ships. They would have continued such, even if they were far smaller. In fact, how exactly did Tarshish and his brothers get to their lands? See, they inherited islands. Were they really good swimmers? Maybe, but not that good. They built ships even then. Even a 5-year-old will figure out how to make things float without any help and having never seen a boat before. It's really just logic here. Now, we'll show you how and where the specific islands are. However, this is how Tarshish got involved in this whole narrative of Ophir's migration. He was a mariner who had ships. Ophir lived in Iran. They didn't have ships there. He wasn't in a boating area. Yeah, there were rivers nearby, but he was not on the seas, as Tarshish was on the Mediterranean Sea at that time. And he had no way to get to ancient Havilah if it were not for the ships of Tarshish, his distant cousin from Japheth. Obviously, Tarshish ends up acquiring a territory within ancient Havilah, which makes perfect sense, which we find to be Mindanao in the Philippines specifically. We'll show you a little more on that. Tarshish was son of Javan, who was son of Japheth. Japheth inherited the lands of the north from Europe to the U.S. and Canada, even into the Pacific. What he did not inherit is Asia, period. None of it. Yes, his people have always encroached on Shem's territory, as Tyrus is found in Tyre in Israel, or the area really given as Israel, given to Shem, not to Japheth. So they don't belong there. We find them in Turkey, and we even find Madai, son of Japheth, from which Media is named. Media, Persia, we're talking about modern-day Kurdistan, basically. It was Japheth's son out of his territory. He didn't belong there. And Jubilees actually records that and tells us that that occurred, as well as Canaan, son of Ham, stole the land of Israel, the land which became named after him, Canaan. And of course, that was restored to Shem's peoples, which they messed up. Now, Noah predicted this would happen, by the way. But what he did not do was condone it, ever. He pronounced a curse if any of these three sons and their ancestors would go into one of their other brothers' territories and take it. Javan inherited Greece and the isles there, which went to his sons, so the Greek Isles. Notice Greece is not even close to China, so those channels claiming so are biblically and historically illiterate, making false claims, basically propping up China propaganda. Even Russia today is a takeover of Japheth, largely. It's two continents, and many people ask, well, why is Moscow split? Why is part of it in Europe and part of it in Asia? Well, because Noah defined that. That was determined as the eastern portion of Shem's territory in the Asian portion. And Japheth has now stolen it in recent times. Magog does not belong in Shem's land, but they aren't the only ones. Now look at Meshech and Tubal here. During colonialism, they advanced on the world into Shem and Ham's lands, conquering and operating in the fruits of their father, the devil, stealing, killing, and destroying. There is no justification for colonialism. It was evil. I don't care what nation you come from. We will cover that further in a future video, but you can see Tarshish lived in Greece and became the transportation for Ophir and Sheba to return to ancient Havilah, their ancient land of Adam and Eve, the land of gold, pearl, and the onyx stone, the Philippines. For Solomon's ships went to a physical place called Tarshish. There's even an incredibly, stupid scholar out there who claims and makes a case that Tarshish must be a type of wood because he doesn't read the Bible. He missed all of these passages and more, which are clear Tarshish is an actual place in the same area as Ophir. Jehoshaphat rebuilt these ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir. See, the ships of Tarshish go to Tarshish and they go to Ophir, period. 2 Chronicles even says he made these ships to go to Tarshish. Are these two writers confused between Kings and Chronicles? Do they not agree with each other? Absolutely they do. They do 100% agree with each other because Ophir and Tarshish are the same place in Scripture and history. And when the Bible's doing this, it's being very brilliant, preserving this knowledge so that we know where these places really are and what they really are. And when it equates places like this, we should take this very seriously. Psalm 72 equates Tarshish as a land with kings, even with the isles of Ophir and Sheba and Seba. Now we will get to Sheba and Seba very soon. That is coming. Those need to be broken down as well, and we will. We already do in Solomon's Gold series. If you want to skip ahead, you can go watch that. Part 2 and 2b deal with that pretty well. Now, these are the same place in the same archipelago of islands. Yes, Tarshish is isles, as we just read. And here, 1 Kings 22 agrees. Tarshish's inhabitants are the inhabitants of the isle. Isaiah tells us the isle shall wait for Yahuwah. The ships of Tarshish will bring thy sons from far. Yeah, from the Philippines. He even defines this as the land of silver, Tarshish, and gold, Ophir, which we see together so many times in Scripture and also in history. These two can really not be separated. And anyone claiming to be Tarshish would also have to prove they are Ophir, and they can not except for the Philippines. Tarshish is the land of silver, as we already covered, according to Jeremiah and Ezekiel, but also according to the Greeks with specifics and even maps. We already covered the Greek isle of gold, known as Chryse, which is Ophir, according to Josephus, and their isle of silver, Argyle, which is equated to the biblical Tarshish, the land of silver. We have directions as being in the area of the Philippines, actually in multiple references, but this is one that we showed you from the Perpolis of the Erythraean Sea. The isles east of China, and then we covered their actual mapping of these lands. They are in the Philippines, as Luzon Island is Ophir or Chryse, and Mindanao is Tarshish or Argyle in Greek, the land of silver, Ophir being the land of gold. This is well documented and really indisputable. And I'm sorry, but if you're Ethiopia, if you're Yemen, if you're India, if you're Britain, if you're Spain, if you're any of these places, even America, who are making these ridiculous, unfounded claims that you are these lands, do a little research, just a little, because it is absolutely ridiculous. There is no such history that supports any land other than the Philippines as Ophir and Tarshish. And yes, there is archaeology to prove the Greeks in fact came to the Philippines in that era. Also, the Bible does not leave this for interpretation. It really doesn't. In many things it doesn't, because it interprets itself. See, most of these scholars who arrive at these conclusions are not reading the Bible. They'll read one passage and try to interpret based on one passage. The last thing we'll show you here will really show you that they just are not reading the Bible. Tarshish must be in the east of the Red Sea, as is Ophir, because they are in the same place. We already proved out this 3-year round trip journey, even mathematically and scientifically. And yes, it most certainly leads to the area of the Philippines as well, not India, and most definitely, indisputably not Ethiopia nor Yemen, which are ridiculous claims. And these ships of Tarshish were broken by Yahuwah, by God, in the time of Jehoshaphat, and remained so in the days of Jonah, about 100 years later. How so many scholars could be oblivious to this fact is absolutely amazing. See, again, they don't read all of the passages on Tarshish when they then go and write their commentaries, and that is negligence. They just aren't doing their research. Let's look at the journey of Jonah, for instance. Now first, remember that Ophir, Sheba, and Havilah, and Ophir and Tarshish are the same place, all of them. They migrated on Tarshish's ships from Mashhad, Iran to the Philippines. Now again, if you haven't seen the other clues, you probably don't know that yet, which is understandable. Go back to the beginning and watch. East of not only the Red Sea, but east of Iran even, is Yemen, Ethiopia, nor Britain or Spain. East of Iran? No, they're already out. They don't fit the criteria on any level, really. And the few that they do in some cases are not enough. They have to fit all of the criteria. The Philippines fits all 100%. Now, we covered all this in this series already, so go back and watch if you haven't. Now, for Jonah, who hopped on a ship that was headed to Tarshish from the port of Joppa on the Mediterranean Sea in northern Israel. Wait a minute. You mean he didn't go to the Red Sea port, did he? No, that port was destroyed by Yahuwah, meaning it was not going to be rebuilt. Scholars miss this, and it's really a bad miss. The only option to continue trading with Tarshish and Israel or Tyre and other lands was to go the long route around Africa to the Mediterranean in those days, and obviously at least one ship did, proving Tarshish and Ophir were not dead lands at that point, but still thriving. Now, was Jonah looking for the shortest route here? No. He was running from Yahuwah to the ends of the earth in the Philippines, to a land that already knew Yahuwah instead of going to the evil city of Nineveh. He was really taking the easy way out. That's what he was trying to do. It didn't work out. Now don't tell me many of us would not try to do the same today, so we're not going to be critical of Jonah, not here. The Bible is brilliant though, because here is where it is extremely specific, yet those attempting to marginalize it mess this up with a false paradigm, really. So that ship of Tarshish journeyed through the Mediterranean west. Yes, that's true, but that was not its destination. It traveled around Africa into the Indian Ocean, and along the way, there was a great storm in which Jonah was cast into the ocean. Now, we're going to prove this out, so don't worry. I'm getting there. And swallowed then by the great fish. Now, some say it's a whale, but the Bible actually does not say whale. Some scientists have even wasted their time trying to prove the Bible wrong yet again, proving that a person could not survive 3 days in the belly of a whale. Well, dummy, read the actual Bible and not a children's story, and maybe you would save yourself some time, because you just disproved nothing. You know, our thinking is the sea creature, the fish, that swallowed Jonah by Yahuwah's command would far more likely be something like Leviathan, who breathes fire, thus has oxygen available for Jonah to live, and he lives in the sea, in the deep of the ocean. Jonah was in the belly of this beast, whatever it was, for 3 days. But the Bible does not stop there. It firmly defines where Jonah was spit up, at least for scholars who can do a little math anyway. So Jonah arose after being spit up on shore and went to Nineveh, according to the word of Yahuwah. Now, Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. Here's where some scholars really don't do the research yet again. Some interpret this as the city of Nineveh being so large it takes 3 days to travel from one end to the other. But see, there's a major problem with this. We found Nineveh. We know where it is and its size. It's on the Tigris River, modern-day Kurdistan. And it is nowhere near that large to take 3 days to walk it. Absolutely not accurate historically. Nor is there actual history to support that kind of really nonsensical thinking. See, when they're doing that kind of stuff to the Bible, they really deceive people, whether they mean to or not, and certainly most do not mean to. No, Jonah is telling you here that Nineveh is a 3-day trip from where he was spit up, and that nails this down specifically, which is exactly what he's trying to do, as he must have been delivered to the Persian Gulf, as that is the only place in which he could have reached Nineveh in 3 days' journey. The only. We did the math from the Mediterranean. In our part 3 of Solomon's Gold series, we cover this in detail. You can go and watch the whole detail. From the Mediterranean, the shortest route to Nineveh is 14 days. Now, I don't know, scholars, maybe my math is not so good, but I'm pretty sure 3 does not equal 14. Just, I think so. Thus, the ships to Tarshish were not going to Britain. They were not going to Spain, but around Africa into the Indian Ocean, and then all the way east if they would have continued, and they did actually, without Jonah. Jonah took it the different route to get to Nineveh. The ship continued to Tarshish from there. Therefore, it continued on the Indian Ocean all the way to the Philippines, which we've proven out already. The land of gold, the land of silver. To ignore all the passages involved and twist this one scripture, this one account, in these 2 ways that we've shown in this one video is really not scholarly at all, but gross negligence. Tarshish and Ophir are a 3-year round-trip journey east of the Red Sea, and no one can disprove that. And again, the Philippines, specifically Mindanao, fits the resources of Tarshish: silver, iron, tin, and lead. Yes, tin. Go back and watch the previous video, part 29. We prove it. Add to all of this that Columbus, Magellan, the King of Spain, Sebastian Cabot, Antonio Pigafetta, and others record Ophir and Tarshish as the same place in the same region, and specifically both lands are the Philippines. And this really is not so difficult. If only scholars would conduct just a little research beyond reading a commentary or two and then writing a commentary based on that kind of nonsense. That's a closed paradigm, and they just don't even see it. Someday, hopefully soon, some will. Anyone claiming Tarshish is Britain or Spain is illiterate of history and the Bible. And we're going to prove that out further, reviewing that in the next videos, and we'll obliterate those as options completely. Kind of already have, but we're not done. We will obliterate. Tarshish is Ophir, and both are known today as the Philippines, and in history, and in the Bible, and ever since. There's no other nation which fits, and no claim which can stand even the shallowest of tests. And we'll show you all of them, because we'll go through the claims as we go through this series, and we'll test each one. And we'll show you just how shallow they are. They are pathetic, really. As we keep saying and supporting over and over again, there is no debating. The Philippines is the land of gold in all of history. It is time this knowledge be restored. For those about to comment in ignorance, yep, we always get them. We know we probably will on this video too. We dare you to watch Solomon's Gold series by The God Culture, the original channel, to prove the Philippines is in fact Ophir and the Garden of Eden, for that matter. Even here, we are breaking these into sound bites and clear points, but watch how all 100 clues tied together in this series will blow you away. Thank you for watching 100 Clues. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell and like us on our new Facebook, The God Culture Space Original. If you wish to skip ahead, go to the God Culture YouTube channel and watch our Solomon's Gold series in English or Tagalog. Part 6 coming very soon. There will be a link on the next screen. We can know this truth and be confident this belongs to the Philippines. And no one, and I mean no one, can disprove it. Until next time.